piecing together the series of events that led to a murder of a policeman's wife and the subsequent fatal shooting of the attacker, who is her son, in Greater Portmore, St. Catherine last night. Jamila Maitland walks us through the timeline in this report. However, we must warn that viewer discretion is advised.
It started sometime after 1:30 Tuesday morning when a man who appeared disheveled and naked approached this white Toyota Probox and began attacking the motorist. A tussle ensued and the driver was able to run away unharmed. The man then got into the vehicle and drove away. He ended up somewhere here at Phoenix Park and crashed into another vehicle. According to the police, there was another struggle with a security guard and the man was fatally shot. He has been identified as 22-year-old Khalil Bent, a student of the Caribbean Maritime University and the son of a police officer. But the police were kept busy as they were called to another crime scene almost 4 hours later, this time in Greater Portmore. The lifeless body of a woman was found at her home. She has been identified as the mother of the victim, 46-year-old Omega Bent.
Very unfortunate incident. It impacts one of our members, who basically would have lost his wife and his only child. So we are providing necessary support for him at this time. We expect him back pretty soon. He's off the island, but I spoke to him and he was really not taking it well.
Commanding officer for the St. Catherine South Police Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Christopher Phillips, said they're still piecing together the series of events.
Believe that both incidents have some linkage. We are not in a position to definitively say that, Khalil was the person who committed that act, but of course he is one of our main suspects in that incident.
SSP Phillips says preliminary investigations reveal that the male victim might have been struggling with mental health issues. He's urging the public to be mindful of families of victims of crime while alluding to graphic photos of the crime scene that have been making rounds on social media.
We've seen some images circulating which we believe, it's pretty insensitive and irresponsible. Already I have reached out to the community leader.
Up first this evening, embattled former Education Minister Royal Reid has resigned as principal of Jamaica College. The announcement was made this afternoon in a joint statement issued by Mr. Reid and the Jamaica College Board. It said an agreement has been reached for Mr. Reid to demit office effective today. However, details were not provided. The statement said during negotiations which preceded the resignation, Mr. Reid was represented by his attorney Kwame Gordon. It further stated that, quote, "It is our view that this agreement is in the best interest of the parties and more importantly, it will allow Jamaica College to focus exclusively on its mandate," end quote. Mr. Reid was appointed principal of Jamaica College in September 2007. However, he obtained a special leave to pursue his duties as Education Minister in March 2016. That special leave expires today, and the school's board and the Minister of Education had been discussing how to handle the matter following Mr. Reid's corruption case. The Jamaica College Board yesterday confirmed that its recommendation of a 5-year extension of Mr. Reid's special leave was rejected by Education Minister Favour Williams.
There was tension in Parliament this afternoon as the government sought to extend the states of emergency until February 12 next year. An opposition member made a comment about the police commissioner, which the Speaker of the House asked him to withdraw, but he refused. Vashon Brown tells us more.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang brought the resolution for the 3-month extension of the states of emergency to the House of Representatives this afternoon. They were imposed on November 14 in 7 police divisions. The government insists the SOEs are effective, but the opposition continues to make the point that the detention aspect of the law is problematic.
And the danger with the state of emergencies, it provides for, in some instances, malice to determine if somebody is arrested and detained for an extended period of time without charge, without the right to due process.
The opposition MP also made this comment during his contribution to the debate.
If we continue to have, and every time we have a vacancy in where the post of the Commissioner of Police is concerned, we continue to use military officers. We're going to get military opinions in terms of the way of fighting crime. That is the only solution you can get from a military officer, is to use a soldier and to take parry people's rights and throw them in a cell. If the commissioner of police is not performing his functions, he should be relieved of his duties. And you get somebody that is competent to guide you and advise you.
That comment did not go down well with the government members.
And it's bringing the office of the Commissioner of Police into disrepute, Madam Speaker, in a critical...
Madam Speaker, you need to sit. What is really happening in this house?
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. In such a time when we are fighting crime, you get upon about the origin and where the Commissioner of Police come from. It's not a disgrace.
House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple Philibert gave her ruling.
In this climate, I am going to ask the member to withdraw the comment about the Commissioner of Police, one, and I'm going to ask for it to be expunged from the records.
Madam Speaker, what specific comment are you... Madam Speaker, with all due respect. With all due respect, Madam Speaker. What is this? And with all due respect, Madam Speaker, I do not see anything to withdraw in respect of what I said earlier. And I remain resolute in that stance.
Lothan Cousins insisted that as an MP, he's entitled to provide opinions in the Parliament.
I'm going to ask you, therefore, if you refuse to observe, then you can discontinue your speech and remain where you are now, as you are sitting.
Madam, I have said enough, Madam Speaker. Therefore, I'll say no more, and I am sure my colleagues will complete my statement. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member is new. The member is having his first term. And I think that he should be guided. And whilst the Speaker has ruled and he has refused to respond to the ruling of the Speaker and consequently accepted the punishment for so doing.
One can consider that it is in poor taste, but it is his opinion. And he's offering an opinion. It may be in poor taste, but it is an opinion he's offering.
Vashon Brown, TVJ News.
And the debate on the resolution to extend the SOE is continuing in Parliament at this hour, with the government members now responding to concerns raised by the opposition. While the government can easily get the measure passed in the House of Representatives, where it has the overwhelming majority, it will need opposition support in the Senate if it is to secure the required 2/3 of votes. And former opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips has blamed Jamaica's economic stagnation on parliamentarians over several decades. Dr. Phillips was making his contribution to the constituency debate in the House of Representatives this afternoon. Noting his current position, he could now speak more freely. Dr. Phillips criticized the decades of partisan politics, which he says has left Jamaica lagging behind its Caribbean neighbors economically. He drew the usual comparison with Singapore, stating that in 1967, Jamaica's GDP was higher than that of Singapore, but today, Singapore's GDP is 11 times higher than Jamaica's.
On Jamaica and its political leadership on all sides over the 4 decades.
The St. Andrew East Central MP insisted that political reform is needed, especially on how parliamentarians carry out their duties.
Uplift itself to realize the fullness of the vision of parliamentary democracy, which I think is to be found largely in the committee system of the parliament, or whether we are going to always succumb to the kind of urge for the expression of partisan self-interest and thus remain mired on the rocks of underperformance as a country.
There was pandemonium along the Ewerton Main Road in St. Catherine today as residents staged a massive protest over the lack of water in communities nearby. Motorists were delayed for about 4 hours as protesters flooded the street. As Kalisha Williams reports, the Member of Parliament for North West St. Catherine, Hugh Graham, was not pleased.
Dozens of residents from Orangefield and Jericho in St. Catherine ignored the COVID-19 gathering limit and descended on the Uwerton Main Road. It started out as a chorus of chants as residents demanded better roads and access to water. But as minutes went by, residents told us they were more upset that the communities have been without water for over 25 years.
It boggles the mind and depresses the spirit to know that we have the well in our community and the water is diverted to elsewhere.
And so they said the protest is an overflow of the decades of suffering they have been experiencing.
Wipes me have to use and beard. 30 wipes me used last night and beard. And my foot no wash yet, a socks me have to put on. I pray for no sick last night because my foot is dirty.
The only water source now, rainwater and purchasing water from trucks. But as the residents protested, they created another problem. They blocked the Uwerton Main Road for about 4 hours, leading to a traffic pileup which stretched hundreds of meters.
People say I'm getting concerned. If I say concerned, so I have to just comply and just wait until the traffic move. Can't do no better than that.
Yet the protesters blamed the National Water Commission and the Member of Parliament for the area, Hugh Graham, for forcing them to do this.
They dig up the road from down by the pump house, go right up by the tank in the square, lay a 6-inch pipe under the ground up there, promise to give us water in that pipe that we can, the community and the citizen may get water from that main. Until this day, no one has get in any water. And we need the Water Commission to come here, and we need Hugo Graham, a policeman, has get his number and call him with the representative, the MP for the area of Northwest. And he say he don't talk to demonstrators.
We unsuccessfully tried to get a response from the National Water Commission, but we spoke to Mr. Graham, who confirmed that the Commission has started a $300 million project to get water into the communities. However, as for the protest, he stressed that the residents took the wrong approach.
We should be able to sit down and discuss matters affecting our communities. And whenever we take matters in our own hands like that, then I don't need to be speaking to demonstrators. So we can have a meeting after they have finished demonstrating.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Now, shortly before news time, the National Water Commission issued a statement saying it is addressing the water problems in Orangefield and adjoining communities. The commission said a well has been dug, pipes have been laid, and a pump installed. The NWC added that the team is installing and certifying the electrical systems for the pump, so residents should see improvements in the water supply within the next 4 weeks. However, it said a significant number of people who are on the network are not registered. The St. Andrew North Police surmised that violence from neighboring divisions may be spilling over into that division. A double murder at the gas station at the intersection of Malines Road and Red Hills Road in St. Andrew this afternoon is the latest incident. The 2 victims of Monday afternoon's deadly shooting at this Total gas station at the top of Malines Road in St. Andrew have not been identified as yet. However, Operations Officer of the St. Andrew North Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Colin Melanes, believes the victims and the attackers are not from the area. It's believed that shortly after midday, the men drove to the gas station to purchase fuel and food. That's when gunmen in another vehicle drove up and opened gunfire on them.
The attackers were very blatant in what they were doing. They knew what they were doing and they executed to the end.
Were they on bike, motorcycle, vehicle?
They made good their escape into a Nissan motor car.
The victims were taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where they were pronounced dead. In recent weeks, there have been a number of shootings in the St. Andrew North Division, but DSP Melanes and Crime Officer Inspector Karen Salmon say there is no indication that this shooting is related to those incidents. The crime scene is on the border with the neighboring St. Andrews South Division, which is currently under a state of emergency. DSP Melanes says while the investigation has just started, it is possible that the incident may stem from issues outside this division.
Early days in the investigation, Mr. Salmon.
Yes.
Right. We are yet to uncover the motive for such a brutal act. And as the investigation progresses, we'll be in a position to give a further update on it.
Right. Because we're pursuing lines of investigations. So, as Mr. Melanie said, there is no motive has yet been established.